Welcome, and welcome back to Off the Cuff, the podcast where two best friends talk everything sports and esports related from the past week. My name is JT, and joining me as per usual is my best friend and co-host Hylander. Hylander, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. You?
It's going good. I had some ice cream from Aldi before coming on the podcast today. Some moose tracks from Aldi. Hashtag not ad. Not ad. We're not sponsored by them. But if you want some flavor in your life, I highly recommend the Moose Tracks ice cream from Aldi.
I don't know why, but I thought you were going to say you had tacos because Taco Tuesday. But
no Taco Tuesday. We had had some pork sausage things, kielbasa.
Always good. Yeah,
had some kielbasa. Yeah. So, but. You thought I was going to hit you with a Highlanders quick quiz. Not yet. Before we get started, and if you've liked our banter already, if you're here and you haven't followed the podcast, give us a follow right now on Twitch, on YouTube, on your podcasting app, wherever it is. If you haven't done so already and you keep coming back to this, or if this is your first time here, then give us a chance. I won't have you, follow now because that's just presumptuous. Not doing that. So give us a chance. Thank you. Give us a chance. But if you like that word in particular, then give us a follow. But anyway, without any further ado, let's head right into Highlander's quick quiz. All right. So last week, Highlander got yet another question correctly, bringing his total up to 400 points. Although, he's
let's
3 for 3.
We don't get it over with. I'm ready for this.
So
I want a hard question this time.
We're hoping for a hard question. We're hoping for a hard question. And
I am tired of being mocked for getting low things and being told I should get it right. NHL for 400. Bring it on.
NHL for 400. Oh,
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Is he ready for this?
This is where I'm going to mess up. I guarantee.
Is he ready for this? What was it, NHL for 400? Yeah. Highlander has a chance to double his points here for a 400 question. What happens to a hockey puck 10 days prior to an NHL game?
What happens to a hockey puck 10 days prior to an NHL game?
Yep. Something happens to it.
It gets tested?
Sort of, but not really. More like it gets prepped. What happens to prep a hockey puck 10 days prior?
Do they practice with it?
No. You got to give me a final answer here.
The prep it. I guess they probably put logos and stuff like that on it.
Ooh, let's see. Is it logos? It gets frozen to help it slide on the ice.
What?
So Highlander does not get those points.
Hold on.
This could be wrong. I don't know. I looked up questions. I looked this question up. I didn't fact check it, to be honest, but this is what I found. So
this is the first I'm ever hearing about this.
That's a 400-point question, Highlander. It's pretty hard. It's pretty tricky. So Highlander does not get those, bringing his total back to 0. Oh, man. He bummed out with that one. Ladies and gentlemen. But unfortunately for Highlander, he did not get that Jeopardy question. His streak is up, ladies and gentlemen. His streak is up. And Highlander's in disbelief.
I'm reading it and I'm like, well, they do a really bad job of doing this. Like, the whole point of doing it is it eliminates it bouncing. And I'm like, I've watched a lot of games so far. It was last night with the playoffs starting tonight. Mm-hmm. And, the puck do be bouncing. So they need to freeze it a little bit better.
Well, Highlander, kick us off with some NFL news. What's going on in the NFL? A lot of crazy trades happening. Your boy got a nice payday.
There are some crazy trades going on. We'll start with the most recent thing of the Steelers are working to acquire wide receiver Allen Robinson from the Rams. It's not really much details into that one yet. We don't know what exactly the trade is, doing. But hold on. As part of the expected deal, the Steelers will pay $5 million of Robinson's salary in 2023, while LA pays the remaining $10.25 million. The Rams will receive a 2023 7th round pick from the Steelers in exchange for Robinson and a 2023 7th rounder. Interesting. I mean, it's an interesting trade because, I mean, I feel like the Steelers win that more than the Rams do.
Yeah, kind of does.
Now that I really look into that one, of course, we're going to go into more breaking news of Bills safety Damar Hamlin medically cleared for football activities.
Yes, he is.
I say whoever the doctor is that allowed this is an idiot and should be fired.
Oh,
because it's only been a couple of months, like a few months since that happened.
That is true.
A cardiac arrest is something serious. It's not like he just broke a leg and, he had like a little, it's whatever, his leg just heals. This is a cardiac arrest we're talking about.
It's true.
It's not even a year. And we're just going to be, go ahead, go back right into it. I mean, there's a reason why, like, Tua got so messed up.
Mm-hmm.
These doctors they keep allowing players to just be cleared when they really shouldn't be yet. Like, I mean, yes, I feel like, you could have him do some football stuff, but there should be no way that this man is playing week 1.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I saw this and I was, obviously happy for Damar, but you've got a point there. I mean, doctors probably know more than we do, but and I mean, he has the best doctors in the world on his side. So maybe maybe it's not like right now play football, but like maybe they're just like, forecasting him for the future of like,
which, I mean, that's all right. Like if it's like, I feel like they need to explain the football activities a little bit more.
True.
Like, are they saying like, oh, you go right in there, full contact, immediately get right in there? Because if that's the case, that doesn't seem like a safe idea.
Right. But
what has it been?
We do have a good
5
amount
months?
of time still before football even gets back underway.
Well, technically OTAs kind of start in the summertime, like July. So yeah, it's a couple of months.
Yeah,
it's still one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if full contact with Damar right away is a good idea. Let him do some stuff, see how he handles it. Have a check out. If anything, I think he sits on the sideline for this season.
The whole season?
While doing like practice, yes. Just to make sure that while he's doing like full-on practices and stuff like that, have him be checked out for the whole season, make sure everything's good, and the next season he's all go.
That's interesting.
Just because, I mean, I feel for the safety of the player.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I recall hearing doctors, rave about him being a miracle patient, like coming back in, with full strides, full health. So who knows? I mean, he's obviously in the fit of his, he's in the fit of his life. He's extremely fit individual, more so than the average Joe Schmo. And so maybe that definitely played a part in his recovery and him coming back from it at all, So maybe him just being the physical specimen that he is, maybe that's why he's fully cleared now, because he's he's so fit and he's so active already that his body's just like, let's go, let's get it. Maybe, but it's an interesting point that you brought up. I didn't think about that. My concern is just the fact of, like, say he gets another hit and he goes into another cardiac arrest. Yeah,
that can't be good on the body.
Right. Which
rushing it, I feel like, is a bad idea.
Yeah, which I don't even know. I don't recall hearing anything as to even why the cardiac arrest even happened.
That's what I mean. They didn't really explain that too much.
Which,
I mean, again,
there might not be a reason.
Yeah, it might have just happened.
Yeah, so who knows if he's more susceptible than others to it,
which would be a scary thing,
especially the position that he's playing.
Where you're constantly making contact with someone.
For sure. I mean, the only other position on the field that's less contact, I guess, is quarterback, but he's not going to be a quarterback.
I'd say the least contact is probably kicker.
Oh, that's 100% right. That's 100%.
Because technically speaking, I feel like if you even touch the kicker, it's like, that's personal foul, roughing the kicker. You slapped his arm. Unless
you're like covering the wide receivers, maybe. I mean, like, that's still physical, but it's not as physical as like a safety. Being
because
the guy
safety is always like, they're usually the ones that come in for like surprise blitzes to stop the run or the sack of the quarterback, or they're the last line of defense
exactly
to stop the receiver from scoring,
and they need to be strong.
Yeah, they need
'Cause
to
at that-
lay that big hit.
Yeah, at that point in time, he's running at you full force. I mean, he's broken through. He's running at you full force, and you got to be a brick wall to stop him.
And
So.
that's my reason why I'm like, because of the position he plays, do not rush this man.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. He's got a lot of talent there. He's got a whole career ahead of him.
A lot of years.
You rush him too soon, he gets injured really bad again.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Yeah.
Like, I get wanting to, like, you know, get him back in, get the team full again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get that. But at the same time, you had to look and go, maybe we got to look at what's better for the team or for the players' health than just the team.
True.
Especially because the Bills are a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like one player on the defense is going to really make that big of a difference.
True. And I mean, with him being gone too, if that didn't bolster our resolve, which it really didn't.
I'm not going to lie. I thought that injury that he had last season, when he had the cardiac arrest, I thought that was going to be the reason why the Bills went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. I was getting the same vibes as like Boston Marathon, you know, like that kind of rallying situation for the Bills, but didn't happen that way. But yeah, so what are you going to do?
Exactly. Speaking of injuries, though, we're going to stick on this. Patrick Mahomes is still working on the ankle injury that he suffered in the playoffs. Recently said that he's still not 100%. So that's one of those things of when you have an injury like that and you play through it, you damage it more.
Yeah.
An injury where, in my opinion, they could have benched him in that conference game when they're up by a lot, but for some reason they brought him in.
Yeah.
Made him play a couple more, and, well, the only rest he really got was right before the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl, it's not like he got the rest during that. Because that whole game was constant back and forth. So, yeah, it looks like he might have done a little bit more damage than he was expecting.
Yeah, it's true.
So that'll be something to follow throughout the offseason to see if out of nowhere he might need surgery for that, the way it's not 100% yet. And, of course, we're going from that, speaking of Super Bowl, we're going to go to the next big thing, which is the breaking news contract. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles agreed to terms on a 5-year, $255 million contract extension, which makes him the highest paid NFL player.
Ooh.
You know, a lot of people I've seen on Twitter are saying that Jalen Hurts has done the ultimate underdog story. I mean, last offseason, you had a bunch of critics saying that he wasn't the guy for Philadelphia, that he would never be a good quarterback, that, you know, all this stuff, to where the next offseason, he becomes the most paid player in the NFL. That the story of that, like, I mean, obviously, as an Eagles fan, it sounds like I'm being biased here, but when you look at that, that is like one of those true underdog stories of, like, when somebody tells you can't do something, don't just give up.
Right.
You go out there and prove to them why you deserve it.
Yeah.
So that's always something good to see.
Not as an Eagles fan myself, I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he completely deserves this contract. I mean, he, you know, maybe didn't have the best start of his career, but, like, he didn't have a bad start either, you know? I mean, and then this year he just took over in a way that we haven't seen since Patrick Mahomes, I would say.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, Josh Allen coming up steadily, doubling his touchdowns every year. That was also a big, you know, he's like the byproduct of those two individuals pretty much. So, well deserved. Well deserved.
It's going to be interesting to see Joe Burrow break that record, though, next offseason.
True.
Because I believe Joe Burrow's rookie contract is up after the season. So that means they're going to actually, you know what's crazy? I think Justin Herbert's is as well.
Yeah.
Burrow, Herbert. I'm trying to think of who else. There's a Jamar Chase. I think his contract is coming up soon as well. There's going to be some crazy signings. And the thing about it is, the more these teams try to beat the Jalen Hurts thing, it's going to hurt their team. Like, if they go in the Bengals, for instance, if they go out there and they sign Joe Burrow to a higher contract than what Hurts has, how are they going to sign Jamar Chase the next season?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that would mean Justin Jefferson's the next season as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it's gonna be an interesting NFL these next off seasons for the money wise.
If it doesn't happen earlier,
I was gonna say, yeah, because it could happen in the middle of the season.
right? I'm seeing, I'm seeing stories already from an hour ago saying Joe Burrow's contract negotiation in light of Jalen Hurts' new deal. So
Oh yeah,
they're probably
Herbert as well.
Yeah,
like those two are like I remember the I think it was the owner of the Chargers that was talking about the Justin Herbert thing and was like, if our biggest concern is finding out a contract to extend him for the team,
yeah,
then we have the perfect problem.
mm-hmm.
It's not wrong. Like if the problem that your team has is trying to make a contract to keep your quarterback, that means you have a quarterback that you have in the future that is actually well. You don't have to work on trying to find one.
Right.
So I'm curious to see. I have a feeling that the Joe Burrow one might happen either before this season starts or in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Thing about Joe Burrow though is I feel like Joe Burrow will take a smaller contract to try to help the team.
Yeah, I can see that.
For the Bengals, especially because I feel like he's going to want to play with Chase.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to have the chance of losing Chase and having nobody.
Right.
Any NFL things you have?
I don't have any NFL news, but if you're done with NFL news, I will move on to XFL news.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
For good reason. I have been following. I've been watching some of the recent games of the XFL just because it's Saturday and I turn the TV on and it's playing and I'm like, football, why not? And I really think that the XFL is what like the US, what's that called? USFL. That started up recently too. USFL. Yeah, that one. I feel like the XFL could be better than the USFL, which I never watched a day in my life. I'll be honest. And I think that's for a reason.
That's what The Rock, I think, was trying to do, is make the XFL bigger.
Yeah. Which I mean, I like watching the XFL, and I mean, I just recently watched on Saturday this game right here, the DC Defenders versus the Arlington Renegades, and it was a crazy game. And so I wanted to break down some of the XFL stuff, which the DC Defenders are like the best team in the XFL right now. And they had a massive lead against Arlington going into the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure it was like 28-9 or something. No, this one in the overtime. So it was like 26-9 or something like that. And somehow the Renegades came back. Which I mean, the Renegades aren't a very good team either. They were like 4-4, and I think DC was like 8-1 at the time. And so I saw this today. This leads fans to say, is the XFL rigged to keep viewers watching? So down 26-9 early in the fourth quarter, things are looking bleak for the Arlington Renegades. And so, I mean, just like a poor interception triggered an eventual comeback for Arlington, which many fans on Twitter says that it was rigged, or it seemed rigged. And then the game was tied at 26, and then overtime, which in the XFL they both they get the ball at the opponent's 5-yard line, and they try to score. So that's how the XFL does overtime, which I think is pretty interesting. But the Renegades had a first shot at overtime, and they failed. And then DC came back, and they had a successful conversion. So they think it could be rigged. I don't know. I don't think it is. Just watching the game, the passion was there from the coaches. I mean, for me, from like a technical aspect, the audio engineers for the XFL should be getting paid literally 10 times more than any NFL audio board runner, because they have to pull in audio feeds from everywhere on the field all at once, all the time. Like, oh, the coach is talking, let's bring him up. Oh, the quarterback's talking, let's bring him up. Because, you can hear the quarterback, in the XFL games, which I think is also really cool. The running back, the wide receivers, like every single player is like, or maybe key players are like mic'd up. And so like that audio board switcher, I was like, this guy's got to be on crack or something to like keep up with all these different audio feeds and to know which one's which at the drop of a hat. And so yeah, I just thought that was interesting from a audio technical perspective.
No,
But so the XFL is winding down. They had their last week this upcoming weekend, week 10, which we have the Orlando Guardians facing the Battlehawks, the DC Defenders against the Brahms. Some of these names are interesting. The Houston Roughnecks versus the Renegades, and then the Vipers.
I think it's the
versus
Brahmas,
Yeah, you're right. That makes
which
sense.
is funny because that's what the Rock was called in wrestling. The
Oh,
Brahma
really? So
Bull.
that's like his team.
It feels like it, which is
Yeah,
funny that he
yeah.
owns the whole thing.
Right. So then in the last game, Vegas Vipers versus the CLC Dragons. So looking at the standings, like I said, the DC Defenders, which I thought was also interesting. They have 2 quarterback ones. You say, how is that possible? I'm pretty sure they legit just like swap off every quarter. Like, this guy plays first quarter, he plays second quarter, and then third and fourth quarter, which has led them to a lot of success this season. And then, the North Division is a lot better than the South Division, where you got 2 people here in the North battling for second and third at 6-3, and the guy in the South, the Roughnecks, are at the top of 6-3 with nobody really even close. So the North is where it's at for the XFL, and I would probably say that the Defenders should win it all if they continue this crazy pace of they're 8-1 right now. So who did I say they were playing? They're playing the Brahmas, and the Brahmas are 3-6. So they should win. You think they'd win. So anyway, yeah, that's really all that I have for the XFL. I thought it was interesting. I thought that potentially rigged thing could come.
It'd be really
play.
interesting about that.
What?
Remember all the jokes about the NFL being rigged last season and scripted?
Yeah.
Imagine if it comes down to the XFL is the one that's scripted, not the NFL.
Which I don't know if this is like the first season. Is this the first season of the XFL, or have they done it before?
The XFL's come around, and then it like died out because no one really cared. And then The Rock and I forget what's her name, they kind of like took it and decided to bring it back. The Rock has said multiple times he wants to kind of like team up with the NFL and possibly be like a minor league for the NFL in a weird way.
I like that.
Because he's saying that way, if players do really good in the XFL, they might get called up to the NFL.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, and then of course, players who don't do good in the NFL have a chance to shine and show what they got in the XFL.
Yeah.
Big example, Ben DiNucci.
Yep. We talked about him earlier on a different podcast, probably 4 weeks ago now. For the Sea Dragons, right?
He looked like he was he struggled a little bit in the preseason for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. Now he's a starting quarterback in the XFL, and he's doing a lot better. I always see every time I see something about Ben DiNucci, it's always he's doing some kind of crazy thing, and I'm like, where was this in the NFL? You would have been on the Cowboys if you did this a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I guess he let the pressure of the NFL get to him, and well,
that happens.
Yeah. Let's find out about the basketball the playoffs.
Basketball, yes.
I almost said baseball. I got too excited.
Yeah. Basketball has been a crazy ride. People stomping on people. Crazy teams upsetting the likes of other teams. Craziness. It's been a fun time.
Love that.
So, without further ado, I just want to share this little graphic I thought was cool. For the first time in a long time, all 4 NBA teams in California have made the playoffs in the same season.
That's actually insane.
Oh, for the first time since statehood. So there you go. For the first time. Not in a long time, just period.
That's insane to me.
That is insane. And then speaking of the 2 teams on the outsides here going against each other, the Kings versus the Warriors. Kings have been bringing it. They've been bringing it to Golden State. And I think Draymond's gotten a little upset about that because in the last game, he was hit with a flagrant 2 foul for stomping on Domantas Sabonis after a loose ball rebound, as you can see right here. There's a stomp, and I mean, that's just unacceptable. I mean, that's Draymond
Yeah,
being Draymond. You see, he kind of grabs his foot there a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, you're on the ground. Like what? Like what are you gonna do? I mean, I think it was an accidental grab. So many people are defending Draymond here, as you can see from this top comment. I mean, he grabbed onto his leg. It wasn't like a hard grab, you know? It wasn't a hard grab. I mean, he was like covering his face there, you know, and then Draymond just happened to step up and it caught his foot on his hand. So I don't think that this should be tolerated, and I'm pretty sure Draymond has been suspended for a little while. I think he's definitely out in the next game. I saw something about that. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but I think he's been out, or I think he's going to be out for maybe a couple of games. I don't know. So yeah, for me, this is just it's kind of cringy from Draymond. I mean, he's had a lot of questionable things of plays that he's done, whether it's kicking people in the where the sun don't shine, just straight up tackling people, or just laying on people. I mean, Draymond is a different kind of man. But yeah, so talking about playoffs, and so we're gonna take a look at the bracket here, and then we'll get into the games that are going on right now, even as we speak. So we got the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Denver leads 1-0, which isn't a surprise to anybody. Suns and Clippers here at a heavily contested 4-5, which Clippers actually lead 1-0. They're playing later tonight. Kings and Warriors, which has been the ultimate shocker, in my opinion, which, I mean, honestly, I thought the Kings were the lower seed. So never mind. Warriors are the lower seed, so I guess this shouldn't be a shocker. But like I said, I mean, De'Aaron Fox is coming different this postseason. So look out for that young man. And then we have the Grizzlies and the Lakers, which also Ja Morant has suffered a hand injury, and he will be out. So the Grizzlies might be looking at an early exit here from the playoffs, coming up against a red-hot Lakers squad as of late. So dangerous stuff for the Grizzlies. They really got to check their resolve and fight back here. On the Eastern side...
Anytime you have LeBron, though, I feel like LeBron is always a favorite to somehow make it to the finals.
Oh, yeah. He's somehow. I don't know. But, yeah, over on the east side of things, Bucks, Heat. Miami actually leads 1-0, which is surprising. We got the Cavaliers and the Knicks once again in that 4-5 matchup where the Knicks took that 1-0 lead. And we've got the 76ers and the Nets where Philly leads 2-0, which, you know, once like I said, I'm surprised that the Nets held on to even make the playoffs. So good on them, but I honestly think the 76ers, I mean, you've got Harden, you've got Embiid, soon to be MVP of the league, I'm pretty sure. And you got Tobias Harris. I mean, like, you've got people all over the place on that 76ers team. So I think it'll be a quick 4-0 for Philly. And then you got Celtics Hawks here, which Boston absolutely demolished them in the first game. But as we speak, they are playing right now, in which Boston is ahead 61-49. So looks like another rout incoming at the half. Just started the third quarter, actually, as we speak. So, Atlanta was up in the first quarter that I saw before we went live with the show. But, I honestly, with the way that Boston has just dismantled the Hawks in the first game, it doesn't give me much hope that Atlanta can hang on with those boys. So then we got the Knicks and the Cavaliers going at it again, heavily contested in the second quarter here. And then later tonight, we've got the Clippers and the Suns, and then that's it for tonight. I keep wanting to go down here, but that's Wednesday. That's tomorrow. So, yeah, Clippers and Suns to end the night, which I think Phoenix needs to get their first win here, because if they don't and they go to the Clippers, it could be – I don't think it's game over. I mean, I think the Suns will bounce back. They're my pick to win it all. Especially if KD gets going, and I don't know. If Phoenix play in the playoffs like they finished the season, in my mind, there's no contest that they should win at all. But yeah, that's really that's all we got going on for the NBA. I mean, all we got going on. We're in the middle of playoffs, so
I was gonna say we're in the middle of the action here.
exactly. So, yeah, that's the playoff view, the playoff look, the playoff recap. Insert playoff word here. What's going on in the NHL? Playoffs
Fantastic.
are inbound.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that was loud. Gee.
I'm going in with something crazy to start off the NHL thing.
He's
here.
really excited, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, this is the best time in hockey.
It is.
We're gonna bring in
Uh-oh.
my bracket first.
Oh, Highlanders bracket.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is my prediction. Hold on. Okay, it has to cut off one of them. Okay,
It has to. Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with the West
Mm-hmm.
to get it going. So in Colorado, Seattle. I was generous. I have Seattle winning at least 2 games,
Okay.
but I still have Colorado winning it in 6. I have Minnesota in 7, which after last night, seeming like that might be on the right case there for an upset.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Vegas beating Winnipeg in 7.
Mm.
And then I have Edmonton beating the Kings in 6. And I feel like after last night, my bracket might be ruined very fast. I then have Minnesota actually upsetting and beating last year's Stanley Cup champions as well.
Mm.
And then I have Edmonton beating Vegas to have Minnesota versus Edmonton. And I'm going to go here by just the fact of I feel like Edmonton just has too many goal scorers that they beat Minnesota badly.
Wow.
In that one.
You got my pick of Dallas not even making it out of the first round.
Then going to the east side, obviously I have Boston beating Florida in 5. I just feel like Florida might win 1 in Florida. Then as soon as it goes back to Boston, Boston just finishes it and says, how do you do? I have Toronto finally after like 6 years getting out of the first round, beating the Lightning in 7. This is a bold statement for me. Carolina in 6. That one most likely will happen. And then I have the Rangers beating the Devils in 7. That is a nice little rivalry game going. But then Boston versus Toronto. I feel like, Toronto might have finally got out of that first round. But then they go right into the mouth of the monsters. And I think Boston just takes it.
Yeah.
And then I have the Rangers beating Carolina in an upset. And then when it comes to Boston versus the Rangers, again, Boston just shuts them down. And then I have an Edmonton versus Boston Stanley Cup final, where Edmonton gives the hope of all of Canada that the curse is going to finally be broken. And Boston does it to them.
Wow.
To win it all.
What do you think the overall like games like match
the series is for the finals?
Yeah, series. Yeah.
I think it'll be a 6-game series, 4-2.
You only have 21 points for a 6-game series. 21 goals.
21 goals is a lot of goals for 6 games, to be honest.
Not with the offensive explosion that we saw. That you know, I mean, you said yourself the offense has been crazy this year.
Yeah, but I feel like in the finals you're gonna have a little bit of hesitation.
You try a little harder, yeah.
Yeah, you also have you don't really go for crazy plays in the playoffs.
True.
Like you go for more of simple things.
Yeah.
Now with
routine.
That,
we're not on that part yet. Man,
yeah, hold on. Don't know where that came from.
Almost had to bring Regal in here real fast.
Yes, yeah, that was insane. So we started off last night with the Carolina versus Islanders game, which we saw the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Islanders 2-1, take a 1-0 series lead. Boston hosted their first game against Florida, where they won 3-1 to take a 1-0 series lead. This is where things started getting a little crazy. We saw the Dallas-Minnesota game go to a double overtime, where Minnesota finally scored to take the 1-0 series lead. Which is why I think that one might actually go a lot shorter, and Dallas might actually be out in less than 7 or 6 or whatever I said. I think it said 7.
Yeah.
But that could definitely be a 4-game sweep for Minnesota if Dallas isn't careful.
Right.
This game is the one that I was most shocked about. The Kings Oilers. In the third period, this game was 3-1 for the Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
LA battles back, scores the tying goal to make it 3-3 with 16 seconds left. Sends it to overtime where the Kings win it and take game 1 in Edmonton. The crowd was out of it.
Electric.
They looked defeated after one game. And all I could say is, well, Edmonton might ruin my west side of the bracket very fast.
It might.
Because my lordy Larry, that was a terrible situation. And then so far as of right now, we have the Rangers and the Devils playing, which Rangers are up 2-0. And Tampa's up 3-0 to Toronto. So Toronto's not having a good start.
No, they're not.
But yeah, that's basically the hockey. Wonderful news. We still have Winnipeg versus Vegas tonight for game 1, and Seattle versus Colorado, where Seattle will have their first ever franchise playoff game, but it will be in Colorado. Do I really think Seattle will win a game? Probably not. This could be a very embarrassing 4-0 series. Because last I seen for one of one of Seattle's games is their goalies. They don't know who's starting for the playoffs yet. But both their goalies had over a 3.3 something goals allowed average.
Oh wow!
And you don't really want that as your goalie's average of goals allowed.
No,
going into the playoffs.
No, you don't.
So yeah, I think that series is going to be very one-sided. And the way Colorado is, especially because Cal Makar is set to return for Colorado tonight. So that's huge. Another good news for Bruins fans is Bergeron is feeling better and could be playing for game 2. That'll give a big boost to the Bruins. I mean, even though
did he not play for game 1?
No.
Oh, he didn't.
So that could be a very big boost.
Yeah.
For the Bruins going into the next games, which I mean, the Bruins really need a boost. Not really, because I mean that team is just insane all over the place.
Yeah.
The Dallas Stars though lose veteran Joe Pavelski, and he will be not playing for game 2 for the Stars. So losing a veteran like that could hurt the Stars a little bit,
right? Which
is why I said that could very easily be a 4-0 for Minnesota. And yeah, that's basically all the exciting start of the playoffs of last night. It might be time to talk about that good old baseball,
Good old baseball.
Who's getting struck out? Who's hitting home runs? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, not currently, but the Rays have ended their historic streak, tying the record. Tying the record? Or just coming short of the record?
No, they tied the record.
They did tie the record. Okay, yeah. They tied the record for greatest start in all baseball. And since then, they've actually lost a couple. They've lost 3, actually. So, as in the last couple of games, they're like 2-3 or 1-3 or something like that. So, they've kind of came back down to earth a little bit, which is good for all of baseball. And with that, MLB has the audacity to post new power rankings where Tampa is not on top anymore. It is now Atlanta Braves who the MLB has on top. And although they have a 1-game worse record than Tampa, I guess. I mean, some other people still have the Tampa on top. But so on screen you see the power rankings here. You get the Braves and the Rays, followed by the Blue Jays. Man, all those rhymed. And then the Yankees, the Astros, Brewers, Dodgers, Twins, Mets, and Padres. And honestly, everyone on this list, aside from the Twins, in my opinion, I think belongs here. I mean, I'm not saying the Twins don't belong here. They do belong here. They've had a great start to the season.
Twins have shocked me so far, to be honest.
Same, which is what I was just about to say until I, I didn't mean to just call them out like that. They don't belong here. That's not what I meant. But I'm surprised that they are here. That's what I should say. And so, looking at the standings here, which I want to not rant, but give my team some positive, sayings here. We are last in our division. Boston is last in the AL East, but we're still better than half the teams in the league. We're sitting here at 8-9, last in our division, right? We're sitting here at 8-9, last in our division. And that's good enough for third place in the AL Central. It's good enough for second place in the AL West. Good enough for nearly third place in the NL East. Definitely fourth. Nearly third. It's good for... Oh, this confuses me. 10-7, but you're in third place. That's weird. It's good for fourth in NL Central. And it's good for second place in the NL West. We are not the worst team. We're sitting at 8-9, and we are just getting ruined because our division is too good. And that makes me mad.
I mean, look at my team.
Yeah, look at your team.
Toronto's a decent team, but
10-7.
They're kind of getting, lowered because of how dangerous this division is.
Exactly. Tampa Bay and Yankees are there, which honestly, I mean, you guys are neck and neck for second place here.
Which I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Toronto. Look at that. Any other division you're battling for first.
Yep.
First. Okay, not there. Dang. Mets and
there's a couple. There's a couple that's like
second,
okay, well,
you're second here, and then you're tied for first in the NL West. Which the NL West honestly has surprised me the most. I mean,
that's the worst.
The Diamondbacks coming out.
I'm gonna make a bold thing here and say the NL West is so far the worst.
Worst division.
In a shocking way.
I think the AL West is the worst division.
Is it?
Yeah, because the Rangers are 10-6 leading there,
and
then the second place is the Angels.
Wait, no, 10-8-8-8-8-3. I think there's multiple people in the NL West that only have 5.
2 people with 5. 10-8-8-5-5. That might break even. It might break even.
True.
But I still think from just the talent that this division has
versus
this
West,
division, I mean, a couple of weeks down the line, it's going to look completely different.
I'll tell you this right now. If you would have told me that the NL West would look this interesting at the start, I would have laughed. Yeah, sure. Especially because I thought this year's World Cup or World Series winner. Oh, I'm just talking all sports today. The World Series winner would come out of the
World
NL
Series
West,
of baseball. Yeah.
No, I said the World Cup. Apparently, we're going to soccer all of a sudden. We're back. We
don't even cover soccer.
We're back a year ago to the World Cup somehow. Yeah, no, like
I don't know
the Dodgers. If you would have told me the Dodgers were negative, San Diego would be negative.
Yeah,
San Francisco, like those 3 right there. I thought one of those
double negative
were like, yeah, like those are the 3 teams I thought were like World Series contenders in my opinion.
Right.
And like seeing them negative, I'm like, whoa, what's going on with this season?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, the biggest shock is probably San Diego for me. I mean, 8-10. I mean, you pick up all the people that you did in the offseason, and you're 8-10.
Preseason, you were hyping them up in the preseason.
I was hyping them up. They're my pick for the they're my pick for the World Series.
They were your early pick to be like a surprising like top team this year, and then they're struggling
early. So we'll have to see how San Diego bounces back if they can get that team chemistry thing under wraps, I guess. Because I mean, you have all those great people under one roof. It might be hard from a team chemistry thing if you haven't ever done it before with those people. So it might take them a little while to, get completely. I was going to say enamored with each other, but that's not the right word. They're not getting enamored, but indwelled with them. I can't think of a word, but
Giants are
friendly with each other. What about the Giants?
They're about to lose another one.
Yeah.
It's the end of the 7. They're down 4-2 to the Marlins. The Marlins are a shocking team this year as well.
Yeah, I mean they're sitting at 9-8 right now.
Like they've been kind of bad the last couple seasons. So seeing them actually have a winning record is
haven't done
kind
anything
of shocking.
too special. Yeah.
Philadelphia being 7-10 is really shocking.
Yeah.
I mean they literally went to the World Series last year or last season, and then this season starting off with a shaky start.
Yep.
But again, there's a lot of games in baseball.
There's too many games in baseball.
There's a good shot that half the stuff we're looking at now, we could look at this episode by like October when we're getting close to the playoffs.
Yep.
And I guarantee you we'll all be shocked of how like there's teams that just flop. And now they're top teams when they were looking bad.
For sure.
That's the best part about baseball though is
the runs.
I think there's some teams like the Athletics that will continue to struggle, but
yeah.
I think San Diego will bounce back at some point.
Oh, I think so. They're way too talented of a team to not bounce back at some point. But anyway, let's get this NRL segment underway. Welcome back, Regal, once again. Love to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yes. So let's switch on over to the recap of what happened in round 7. 7? 7.
Yeah.
The NRL.
We're 7 rounds in already. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is mine. This is mine, not yours. Hold on.
I'm doing Highlander's quick quiz. All right, give it to me.
You're not. Do you want one? We could do that. I gotta make a different one for Regal, but
right.
All NRL questions.
So yes, halftime was 14-6 Dolphins. After that, absolute dominance from the Bunnies. Bad news for the Bunnies is they end up losing Cole Matungi to, I forget what the injury is called, but I believe it's the same thing that Adokar has.
Something like that. Yeah, I think
it's
there's
some like
injury.
weird adademosis.
Yeah, something in the leg knee area,
which isn't good.
No, it's not good. He said they've got 2 months on the sideline or something.
Basically, yeah.
Which is pretty rough. That's a big loss for the Bunnies.
Yeah. We have Sharks Roosters, where Sharks. I mean, it was a close game for a little bit. This one, to be honest.
Yeah,
and the Sharks fell apart. Or I mean, the Roosters.
And the Roosters' head coach Trent Robinson has apparently decided to put this loss on Sam Walker, halfback, which is interesting. He's been dropped from the team this week and potentially ongoing. I guess we'll see how they go. But that's so strange to me because it's not like the Roosters were favorites going into this game. The Sharks are quite a good team. So to drop your star young halfback, that would be like the Bills dropping Josh Allen, right? It just doesn't make you're not going to win every game. He's not in form at the moment, but dropping him to reserve grade as punishment just seems silly.
There's been a lot of weird, silly choices all the season.
Absolutely, and they signed. I think I saw somewhere that Sam Walker signed a 2-year $1 million extension, which in the NRL is actually a pretty big contract.
Yeah, I was going to say that they don't usually do millions.
Exactly, yeah, and that was in December.
And now he's getting benched.
And now he's getting benched. What? The 7th round, 8th round into the comp. I think he'll be back this year. I don't know when. So I've dropped him from my fantasy team. But it just doesn't. I don't know what the logic is there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. If any, I've said for a while, I think the best halves combination you could put in that Rooster side is Sam Walker at 7 and Joey Manu at 6. I think Luke Keary's he's had his time. I think he's done. I understand at the moment he's actually looking decent. And I guess get the best out of him while you can, but they've dropped the wrong half, in my opinion. That's really what it is. They're saying that the play styles between Sam Walker and Luke Keary are so similar that it's becoming a problem, which is strange because they were the same halves combination from last year, and the Roosters were playing well. So how are they playing the same, but they're having different results than they did last year? That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't add
There's no
up.
logic there. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the Roosters are losing their minds a little bit. They're starting to look like how Craig Bellamy's looking. Just kind of making changes for the sake of making changes, seeing if something else works. And I don't agree with it. Speaking of Craig Bellamy,
Yeah, that's what I was like. That's a good segue.
yeah, I don't want to talk about this game. This was, yeah.
This game was atrocious. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I get that there's weather, but oh my.
Yeah,
The amount
I
of
understand.
times that I've seen a Storm player do something stupid to give Manly a penalty was insane. I mean, the example that comes to my mind is Justin Olam coming in and just hitting Cherry Evans late as can be after a kick for no reason. And then getting sin binned and looking surprised like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah, that
was the game, basically.
The thing about this game was that the first half was actually all right.
Oh, the
I
first
think
half
it
was
started
decent.
raining. Yeah, it was decent. Melbourne went into the half down, which is fine. But I kind of expected second half a lot more points. I think there was only the one try scored.
There's one try by Manly in the second half.
Yeah, Lachlan Crocker. Yeah, where he just barges over the line in the last few minutes. And Melbourne was defending almost that entire second half. They were stuck in their own 20 for most of that game. They just had no attack. And when they did have attack, there was errors. It was so incredibly frustrating, especially as a Melbourne fan to watch it was just so bad. No one wants to watch a game where it's just errors. People want to watch games where people are running down the field, making line breaks, scoring tries, not, we can't get out of our own 20 meter line. It was abysmal. It was
especially
terrible.
when it's like professional players. Like that's
you
expect them to play their best. That's why they're there, and then
that is a game.
Drop simple things.
Absolutely, that is a game with two teams that have brilliant offense capabilities, and it ended with 26 points in the whole game. They should have been scoring 26 points each, more even. So, yeah, GG, go next.
Yeah, exactly. Which next is the New Zealand Warriors hosting the Cowboys. Which this one was another shocker. Yeah, honestly, this was a game that honestly I don't know if I actually paid attention to the second half.
It was a snooze fest. The Cowboys are. I don't know what has happened to them.
I don't know.
I thought Nanai being back would be the bolster that they needed. Nanai, Drinkwater. They've lost Taumalolo for a while. I think he's got to have surgery. Not a huge loss. A couple of years ago, that was a huge loss for them. These days, they've got the depth. I don't really see that being too much of a problem for them. But if you had told me at the start of the year when we went through these games, if you had told me the Cowboys lose to the Warriors, at Mount Smart, but either way, the Cowboys lose to the Warriors, I would have laughed at you. Yeah. Regardless of where they're sitting on the ladder, I would have laughed at you because the Cowboys last year were a team that people were saying could make the grand final, could win the grand final.
I mean, they were second last year.
They were, and now they're second last on the ladder?
They got to be something bad on the ladder.
Let me open it up real quick. I think they're second last on the ladder. They've got 2 wins.
That's insane.
So I know we haven't quite. I'm going to jump ahead real quick, but I'm going to say that if the Cowboys can't knock off the Knights this week, their season's probably done. I don't think they can make the 8.
Wow.
It is officially do or die for them.
The thing about it is, this team didn't really lose that many players either. Again, last year, I remember we all had the Cowboys as one of our top 3 teams to watch because they were so fun last year. They just put up so many points and made it look easy. And then this season comes around and they just, I don't know, they're falling flat. They're not doing the cool plays that they did last season. They're playing very slow, boring.
it's the thing that's frustrating about the Cowboys is that in last year's preseason, they were the team everybody had as wooden spooners. Because they'd picked up Chad Townsend. I think that was the year they picked up Chad Townsend. Maybe it was the year before. I can't quite remember. But their halves were underwhelming at the time. Tom Dearden was, he was the trickle down from the Broncos. Like the Broncos didn't want him anymore. The Cowboys signed him. Kind of the same with the Sharks. Sharks didn't want him anymore. They ended up with Nico Hines. So that the Cowboys signed Tom Dearden, and then that was they signed Chad Townsend, and that was their halves combination. People were like, dude, what are they doing? Chad Townsend brought the experience that the Cowboys needed, and Tom Dearden actually had a good season where they were just electric. Now coming into this preseason, everybody was like, that's the team. That's a team that's going to be worth watching. That's a team that's going to guaranteed to make the 8, and they're sitting nearly at the bottom of the ladder. I don't understand. So I think they're officially under the gun.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the Warriors actually make the 8.
I'm going to stick with what I said, man.
I know you don't think so, but I don't know. They keep getting these wins.
They do. And look, I'll almost always take them to win at Mount Smart. I don't care who they're versing.
Yeah.
All right. Mount Smart, they just win at Mount Smart. They always have. But I still think by the end of the year, they will not finish in the top 8. Maybe 10th, 9th, maybe, or most likely. Not below that, but I still don't think they make the 8.
Yeah, I do think that if they don't make the 8, they're on the outside, just outside.
I really think they're going to be a team like the Broncos last year, where they had a really good start to the season, and then the end of the season is where they just drop.
I just realized what game is next.
Arguably, probably the best game of the week.
But at the same time, also worst game.
I agree. It was boring up until maybe the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, not wrong.
Where we ended up having a bit of a field goal kick out, I guess.
Gamble's field goal, though, to give them,
was brilliant.
That was insane. How, that was so far and yet so perfect.
Yeah.
And I kind of was rooting for the Knights at one point, where I was like, you know what? If the Knights win this, good on them.
Yeah, well, I remember saying to you, I was like, I don't think Panthers really deserve this win.
No, they
the Knights the Knights are looking decent this year, sure, but it's Penrith.
Yeah, they're showing the cracks.
They're absolutely showing the cracks. But the 2 field goals done by Nathan Cleary as well, within 3 minutes, I know the game went to Golden Point, but within 3 minutes he kicked 2 absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful field goals. Credit to him, he was absolutely MVP in that game. At least for Penrith. For the Knights, it was obviously Tyson Gamble. He scored a try, he kicked the field goal to take the lead, and then Nathan Cleary on the next set came back and kicked the next field goal to tie it before Golden Point. It was, I would say, probably the best game of the week.
I can agree with that.
Even though it was low scoring, it's fine when the ending is so interesting like that, right?
I don't know. I feel like the next game wasn't that bad.
I didn't even watch this game. I started watching it, and it was pretty close at halftime, 2 tries apiece in the first half. And
I think the Titans were winning it.
By the look of it, yeah, they had the penalty goal, so they went up by 2 by the look of it at halftime. And then the Broncos did what Broncos do.
Yeah.
Bruce Walsh, Jesse Arthurs, Kirk Capel, Ezra Mam, Selwyn Cobo. Selwyn Cobo's try was actually really, really good on Broncos' side. The Titans need to learn how to not drop a ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Nobody really this is what everybody expected, kind of a blowout. It took a while for Broncos to get there, but they got there.
See, I just have a feeling the Titans could be the best team in the league. I just feel like the Broncos will always be their kryptonite.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no doubt the Titans should be better than they are. I've said that for years. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if they've got the Tigers effect where it's their head office is just there's something going wrong up there that they haven't figured out. Because they've tried so many different combinations. They've brought in Kieran Foran in the halves, who has been decent. He's a leader for them there. They lost AJ Brimson, which is a pretty big loss in my opinion, but they've got Jaden Campbell as a backup. Young guy. His father was one of the original signings to the Titans as well. So, he's got reason to be at the club. He likes it there by the look of it. And he's just an electric player. So, decent fill-in. There's really no reason for them to not be winning games. Although I feel like they're actually doing all right this year, at least compared to last year.
The
Where are
Titans,
they on the ladder?
they've almost, because I was talking to Jabbin about this, the Titans almost have maxed out the wins that they had last season already.
Yeah. I did predict them having a better year this year than last year. I remember the boys laughing at me for that, but they're 10th and they're currently tied for 5th with the Bunnies. So but they could pretty easily be in the 8 this week, if not the week after. So they're actually doing better than I'm giving them credit for. But still, they're still floating on that edge. Maybe not. But we'll see how they go. They're a more interesting team to watch this year, and I'm glad to see that at least.
This game is one of those things again where the Dragons come up close, but again lose within a try.
GG, go next.
Honestly, yes.
Terrible. Two terrible teams. Terrible game.
I just want to point out, though, every game the Dragons have played this season, they've lost by a try or less.
Yep.
And
that sounds like the Dragons.
It's just insane because I'm like, you look at that, they're almost like how the Saints were of like the NFL Saints were last season, not the season that just happened, but the season before that. Where they're close to making the playoffs, but they just lost every game by like a touchdown or whatever. And it was like, you win these games, you're up there in the 8 pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just their defense just falls apart. And then their offenses can't get going.
Yeah, what's frustrating me about these two teams, Raiders, they've got quite a few injuries at the moment, and they're still kind of finding a way to win games. So there's not really a whole lot to talk about with the Raiders. The Dragons, on the other hand, if you go back and look at their starting lineup from this week to week 1, their forward pack is just no, the opposite. It's changing too much. They cannot decide what to do with Jack Bird. They had him playing at lock last week. This week they've got Jack DeBellin playing at lock. The week before they had him at prop. Like, they don't have any consistency in that forward pack. They don't know what they're doing. Playing where they have no idea. Anthony Griffin. It's been said for years that he is on the chopping block. I do not know how he still has a job. He has no idea what he's doing at this point. Fire him, and get Michael Maguire in. It can't be worse.
No.
There's no consistency with that forward pack. And it's really hurting their back line. Like Tyrell Sloan's trying to carry the back half of that team, and he's doing a pretty good job. Tyrell Sloan's he's doing all right at fullback. He lost the job last year to Cody Ramsey, who unfortunately is out with some serious illness for the whole year, which sucks because I was really looking forward to watching Cody Ramsey. He's a brilliant player.
He looked really good last season.
He was brilliant. And, now Tyrell Sloan managed to get that starting job, obviously by default, and he's doing well. But yeah, honestly, I'm going to blame their loss on the fact that they don't know what they're doing with that forward pack. They have no consistency.
You can't be switching it that much because then the players don't even know what they're doing anymore.
Like, looking at the stats from that game as well, we'll go player stats real quick. There's a glaringly obvious problem that they've done, and there was a whole speculation that the Dragons lost a interchange in this game, which isn't true, but they used an interchange incorrectly, essentially. So they started, originally it was meant to be Jacob Little starting at hooker. That didn't end up happening. At halftime, they swapped him out with, Moses Mbai before the game came into hooker, and then Jacob Little played the second half of the game, which inherently kind of screwed them over because they weren't able to utilize the forward pack on their bench. So, Jack DeBellin ended up playing 80 minutes a lock, which is great if you got him in fantasy, but he would have been absolutely buggered. Jack Bird, 80 minutes in the second row. Jaden Sewer, 74 minutes in the second row. You should be using your interchanges to give your forward pack a break because of how much work they have to do. Why are teams using interchanges on hookers? It does not make sense. I understand hookers are still in the forward pack, but if you've got, like, Damien Cook, he plays 80 minutes. Harry Grant plays 80 minutes. Why there are teams like the Dragons, like the Tigers, who are starting to not use their interchanges for Appy Coruscant anymore, which is good. The Broncos, but the Broncos are actually kind of doing it successfully to a degree. But they've got a forward pack that's so young, and Patrick Harrigan and Payne Haas that can play those extended minutes if they need to, where they can afford to use that interchange for their hookers just to, liven up the game a little bit. Dragons don't have that luxury, so I don't understand why they can't just stick with a hooker. It's not like Little or Mbai are hookers like Harry Grant, where they're taking it from dumping half, sprinting down the field at 80 meters for a try.
Yeah,
They're just not doing that. They grab the ball, they pass it. That's what those hookers are doing. I don't understand how they're not playing them for 80 minutes. It's mind-boggling.
makes no sense.
As soon as Anthony Griffin's gone, I think that team gets better.
Oh yeah. And then ending with the Eagles Bulldogs. What excitement do you have to tell us on this one, Regal?
I didn't watch the game, and I'm glad I didn't, because I definitely would have been going for Bulldogs in this game. Sorry, JT. And I would have been disappointed to see 30-4. Yeah, I don't have much to say. The Eels finally.
I will say this though: the Bulldogs got a lot of injuries in this game.
Yes, they did. In fact, that is worth talking about. Bulldogs have lost both of their starting wingers in Josh Adokar and Jacob Kraz, which is painful.
Yep.
And what's really frustrating for me is I'm a big fan of Matt Burton, always have been. He's been great for the Blues. When I saw he was going to be starting halfback for, I guess, 5'8" for the Bulldogs, I was really excited. I think he would be perfect in there. And last year, he individually did pretty well. This year, they finally added some more depth. They started looking like they had some cohesion, and then they started the year off kind of bad. They weren't having many wins. They're starting to kind of pick it up now, and then they lost Josh Adokar. They lost Jacob Kiraz last week, and now they've decided to switch Matt Burton to halfback instead of 5'8", which should have been happening from the start, and they've done that now when both of their star hookers are out. Both of their star wingers are out. So I think it's a great change in the halves there, but they've done it too late. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference losing Kiraz and Adokar like that.
I think they're on a down slide right now.
Yeah. When Kickow, Adokar, Kiraz are all back, if they keep Burton in the 7 jersey,
they definitely could. Yeah, the Bulldogs definitely could make the 8 still. I'm not saying they're out yet, but it depends on how long it takes for those 3 to get back.
Yeah. I don't think Kickow's too. Oh no, he tore a pectoral actually. I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
so he's out for a while.
Yeah, because he was fine, went to play, and then he tore his pectoral during practice.
Yeah.
So
and
talking
about still good.
Talking about the Eels for 1 second, and this comeback that they're having, I'll put the quotation marks around the comeback. Do you think it's sustainable, or are we just beating easy teams?
It's absolutely sustainable.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, let's be honest. They should be where they're at.
Realistically, the fact that they've lost as many games this year as they have been is the upset.
Ridiculous.
I don't understand how they are. That last year the last couple of years they've been such a dominant team. They haven't really lost anybody. Like they've lost Jermaine Hopgood, who they gained Jermaine Hopgood, which has been a huge bolster for them. I was thinking of Penrith. They've only improved. Like you look at that forward pack, they've got Junior Paulo, RCG, they've got Jermaine Hopgood, they've got Ryan Madison, they've got Sean Lane. That is probably the best forward pack in the competition, in my opinion. And then they've got Mitchell Moses, Dylan Brown. They've got Mike Acevo, who's one of the best wingers in the comp. Will Penasini, who's one of the best senders. And like, how are they losing games? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But they are. You know, like they beat the Bulldogs. Yeah, that's not much to.
It was their first like blowout victory.
It was, and that's something to be proud of. I think they are a team that can be beating teams like Penrith and Brisbane.
Yeah, they've done it before.
And there's no reason they shouldn't be doing it, but for whatever reason they aren't. So I think it is sustainable. It's up to them if they sustain it or not.
I'm telling you, I feel like this Penrith team here did something to them in that finals last year.
Yeah,
because it's like it's still in their head or something. Because they just, I don't know, they seem like they're not confident enough to go out there and just like go hard the whole time.
Maybe even overconfident.
Maybe
in a weird way. Like, I don't know.
Because there's multiple times where like they'll start off strong and they're like go, but then they let off the gas, and these teams are either coming back and beating them, or because it was a close game in the first half, the second half the other team just goes off on them because they let their foot off the gas, and then it's like, well, this is the GGs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also the biggest upset of the week, by the way, the Tigers get their first win.
Yeah, you know what? That is true.
First competition
a bye win, but
it's a win. You know,
hey,
it's points on the board. So
we take those.
You know, now they're only 2 points behind the Cowboys.
Well, they take those.
As I say, I don't know if you want to claim the Tigers as your team.
And I'm not claiming them. No, definitely not.
I wouldn't be either.
Yeah, this week coming up, round 8, we got a couple of good games. We started off with Bunnies Panthers.
Yep, genuinely a coin flip game for me, to be honest.
Yeah, if the Panthers play like they did last week, it should be a Bunnies game. But again, the Bunnies don't have Cole Matungi. We put Jairo in the 8 jersey for this week, which is really weird to me. Something I didn't expect.
Yeah, they had him there last week before they moved him to the interchange as well.
It's really weird. I'm like,
I'm for it. If it means he plays more minutes, I'm for it.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked to see Jairo in a weird way take Cole Matungi's spot.
I would have as well. That's what I assumed they were going to do.
But they're putting Cheekham in his spot, which is really weird because Cheekham is a smaller guy from what I've seen.
He's quite lanky.
So I'm really confused of why you wouldn't put someone like Jairo, who we know what he can do. He can push through people and make plays. I mean, again, it might be one of those things where game time switch, but I mean, I guess we'll see. Because of the weird ways of losing Cole Matungi, I kind of do got to say I feel like Penrith will probably win that game, but it is at the Bunny Stadium, so maybe Bunnies finally do it.
Yeah.
The second game of the week, we get Eels Broncos.
Oh no!
So to answer the JT's question on this one, I think for this week the Eels' momentum gets halted.
Well, I see why you'd say that, and obviously the Broncos are the dominant team at the moment. This game's being played in Darwin.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I think if Parramatta can find themselves and play like they did last year, this is going to be a very good game, and they could win this game. But if they play like they have been so far this year, they're going to get absolutely mauled.
Yeah. See, my worry is going to be a close game in the first half. Second half, the way the Eels like to let off the gas in the second half, and the Broncos are known for stepping on that gas in the second half. This game could get very ugly in the second half very quickly.
Yep. Score as much as you can in the first half, and then see what happens.
The Eels kind of have to score a lot to hope they take up a big lead.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this game relies on Clint Gutherson.
Yeah.
He's under the gun at the moment, potentially losing his job, which I think is a bit much. But they're losing. They've got to make a change.
Yep.
Same thing as the Roosters. That's what they're trying to do. And I would say Gutherson's probably more of a deficit to the team than somebody like Moses.
Moses.
I think if Gutherson can step up and really sort of shine a light for the team, yeah, it's a winnable game for them for sure. But I would be putting my bet on the Broncos for that game.
Yeah.
I would say Moses has been like one of our most impactful players this entire season so far. I mean, he's
And
been
so
the
he
one
should
making the
be.
plays, and especially doing those like kicks into the. Is it called the end zone? It's not the end zone. The try zone. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, calling it an end zone's fine as
End
well.
zone's fine. Yes,
Realistically,
like
yeah.
seeing the kicks that he does to like set us up for even a chance for a try. I'm just like, how in the world do you do that? But yeah,
That's his
But
job.
if I saw Moses get benched, I might have to rethink my whole Eels partnership.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a good player.
Yeah,
This one I'm just gonna say immediately Sharks.
I
Sharks.
hope not. I
Like,
really
it's
would like to
just-
see the Bulldogs.
It's just because the Bulldogs have too many injuries now, losing both their wingers.
I
Someone
think-
else got injured as well for the Bulldogs, but I don't know if it was a serious injury or not.
I think in terms of the forward pack and the halves, I feel like this game's actually going to be pretty close.
It was Averillo. He was shaken up at one point.
He is listed to play at center
Okay.
alongside Braden Burns, I think, or I can't remember. Declan Casey, actually.
Okay.
I think Burton can compete with Hines, especially in terms of the kicking. Like that's where Burton shines. I think he can compete there, and I think the forward packs are pretty solid as well. I think maybe Bulldogs, if anything, have a little bit of a lead there, but between those two backlines, like Kennedy, Katoa, Mulatalo, Ramey, and Talakai for the Sharks, up against Declan Casey, Humegalol, Braden Burns, also Humegalol, and then we've got Jake Averillo, and I can't even think of who the other center is. Who's the other center for the Bulldogs?
Alamati.
Alamirdi, of course. Those four, and then Hayes Perham at fullback. That is like
It
the
should
epitome
be.
of a diff right there.
Yeah. This game could very well be a blowout.
It could, like, honestly, putting Mulatalo on for 3 tries
Yeah.
wouldn't be a bad bet.
I wouldn't doubt if Talakai even has. Talakai could have a game like he did last year where he had 100 points in the first half.
He could, yeah, absolutely. There's this with how much of a diff there is in that backline. Yeah, I could agree with that. I think it's going to be up to those edge players, which off the top of my head, TPJ maybe and Preston. It's going to be up to them to have really good defense to help out, particularly the centers, so that the centers can help the wingers out on the defense. If they can keep some cohesion there on the edges, Bulldogs can win that game, but it is going to be very, very difficult for sure.
Cowboys Knights. I gotta go Knights here.
I'm going Cowboys.
I'm also going Cowboys. I don't like it. There is only one win separating Knights and Cowboys, I believe. So realistically, the teams are actually decently close.
I'm gonna oddly say Lachlan Miller's gonna have a crazy game for this Knights team,
and he could do. The Knights also get Kalen Ponga back in 5'8", which we think is a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say until he gets tackled once and he's out with another concussion.
And if that's the case, they've got Tyson Campbell on the interchange as well. So, I think this will be an interesting game. Like I said, it's kind of do or die for the Cowboys. Yeah, I think it's a coin toss. Cowboys need to win it to keep their season going. Knights, honestly, they're kind of playing well enough that they could drop this game and it probably wouldn't affect them too badly. But yeah, I think a lot of this game rests on Kalen Ponga, how he's going to be playing in 5'8". They're expecting him to be his 5'8", like their 5'8" for the future. But if he keeps getting concussed every game, he's not going to have a future to be playing for,
Yeah.
No.
And I mean,
bad for the guy.
If the Cowboys lose like the game against the Knights at their home stadium, yeah, they're done. Their season is literally just fried at that point.
It's hard to not disagree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Dolphins Titans. This is going to be a game of the week, I think.
Be a good game.
Suncorp Stadium,
which is kind of shocking because Bunny's Penrith is happening, and I still say I think this is going to be a game of the week.
Suncorp Stadium, though.
That's the only problem. As long as the field holds up, this game will be really decent.
I hope this game is interesting to watch. I hope it's a good game. I feel like it's mostly going to come up to the Titans being able to perform at the Dolphins level. They're again like 8th and 10th, so I think they have the same amount of points
I think so.
in terms of wins. And I don't. Oh, the Titans have had their bye, so technically the Dolphins are a win up.
I see. I'm going Dolphins in this game.
I think I am too, honestly. They've had a rough go of things the past couple of weeks, but I think they find their footing here as they slip around Suncorp.
I think it's a bit of a coin toss game, but I'm probably going to back the Titans for the win.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's a bit of an underdog bet, though. I'll be honest. I think the Dolphins should win this game based on their performance this year. But I'd like to see the Titans win this game for sure.
I'm just expecting the hammer to really go off this game, possibly getting like a double.
Yeah, I'm not saying the Titans will win.
Yeah,
I hope that they win, if anything, which is weird because I don't even like the Titans.
Oh, this is a toss up.
No,
I'm just kidding. This is Sea Eagles all day long. This is a game that I think Turbo is going to get at least a hat trick in this game.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, if you have Turbo on your fantasy, captain him.
Yeah, this man's going to have a hat trick this week.
I now have DCE on my fantasy. I've captained him.
Yeah.
I hope they absolutely roll the Tigers because the Tigers need to do something. I like the Tigers, right, as a team. I'm sad Adam Dewey's out. He's one of my favorite players. And he's out for the rest of the season, potentially start of next season as well.
Wow.
With his third ACL tear in the same knee. It is rough going for him.
That might be close to career ending when you get that many ACLs in the same leg, especially the same knee. That's where it gets a little scary.
And the Tigers are debuting a new fullback, Jareem Buller.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to see how he goes. But yeah, I see this being like 100-0, genuinely.
Yeah, I could see this being a big game.
If it's not a massive blowout, the Tigers had a good game.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see, like in my head, I could see Turbo getting a hat trick, DCE getting maybe a hat trick even as well.
Yeah.
I see
Garrick on for 4.
Garrick, I think, is injured for this.
No, he's playing.
Is he?
Yeah, he's listed.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Garrick can definitely get points then.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first times that the Manly is looking full strength. They're out.
Yeah. Well, Kola.
Tuolagi and Kola. But they got Brad Parker, they got Morgan Harper, they're playing fine.
They got Saab. You know what? Saab for 3.
Saab could get 3.
Against the Tigers side there? Yeah, I could see Saab. Oh, wait. Isn't Talau coming back this week? Was he cleared?
Tommy Talau. Yeah, he's on the interchange.
Oh.
Yeah, he's 17.
Not starting him. Interesting.
No, I don't know why you'd waste an interchange spot on him if you're not going to start him unless they're planning on putting him somewhere else.
He was doing good before he got injured. It wasn't like he was doing terrible.
Yeah, like I told you, I wanted to pick him up this week for my fantasy, but I saw he was 17, and I'm like, well,
yeah, that's scary.
What do you do with that?
What if he doesn't come in until like the very end for 5 minutes?
Let's talk about the Tigers interchange there for a sec. They have Joe Offahengawi, who's a brilliant forward. Alex Twell, also a brilliant forward. Hopefully he scores a try this year. And then they've got Tommy Talau and Dane Laurie taking up 2 bench spots.
Why?
I can see that being a game day change. David Nofaluma on the reserves. Hopefully he makes a comeback. But,
I think Talau will be moved to the starting lineup at some point.
He could do. But I don't see why you're wasting 2 bench spots on a center and a fullback. Or a center and a halfback is what Dane Laurie should be. But
weird.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Again, like I said, if it's not a huge blowout, Tigers had a good game.
Well, I'll tell you this one before even really going in this one. Dragons lose by a try.
Yeah, I can see it.
Just because the Dragons love to keep it close, but they just never finish it.
Yeah. Like I said in the Discord, they've dropped Sam Walker for this game, at least, probably more.
Actually, you know what? Because of that, I hope the Dragons actually win this game.
What?
No,
yes
think about
and no. I really like Joey Manu. I'm a big Joey Manu
Yeah.
fan. And seeing him playing finally in the halves really makes me happy. I've said for a while I think the halves should be Sam Walker, Joey Manu. But Joey Manu, Luke Keary, look, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I kind of hope the Roosters win this game. Also, huge news, actually, for the Roosters. They have Satili Tupanua on the interchange,
Oh.
who I'm a big fan of. Last year, he was on my fantasy. He did very well. He is just an
Okay.
absolutely electric player. I hope he makes it into the starting side soon. They also have Angus Crichton back after he's taken the first couple weeks off, or the first 8 weeks off for mental health reasons. He is back in the starting lineup, which is good to see. So I think eventually they find out a way to put Satili Tupanua in that starting side, maybe dropping Egan Butcher for Satili. That team is deadly. It is deadly. Also, Paul Momorowski makes his first game of the year as well.
I think this is the week that the Roosters start looking more like the Roosters we expect.
I hope so. I think it's going to come down to how those halves do, and there's going to be a microscope on that on Luke Keary and Joey Manu for that game.
Ooh. Then we end the week with Storm Warriors.
Yeah,
in Amy Park.
Genuinely pretty nervous about that game. I'll be honest.
I mean, for some reason they have the Storm as a huge favorite, but I feel like this should be a lot closer.
I think it should be closer as well.
Just because it's in Melbourne.
I mean, no, it's because
it's probably got to do with it.
It's got that as plus it's the Storm.
Yeah,
I mean,
is the main thing.
Everyone's expecting the Storm to always be like a top 3, top 5 team every year. So, like, seeing Warriors Storm in Melbourne, you'd be, yeah, the Storm should win this.
Yeah, it should be a blowout.
Do I think they'll win it? I do, but I think it'll be a lot closer than what a lot of people are thinking it's going to be.
If Melbourne lose this game, I will change my mind and go ahead and say Warriors make the 8. But I don't see the Warriors winning this game.
Yeah, no. But I do think it's going to be closer than what a lot of people are expecting.
Yeah. I hope it's not. I hope it's an absolute blowout.
The Storm aren't fully healthy yet.
No.
And because of that, I think that's the only reason why it's close.
I really hope Pappenhausen is back before Magic Round. I really hope.
I hope he goes back next week.
Yeah, his projected return was round 8. Round 6 to round 8 was what they originally said. Pappenhausen turned around and said, look, it might take a bit longer. Obviously, that's the case. So I'm hoping he's back next week. Otherwise, there's still Magic Round for him to potentially be back, and I hope that's when he's back, because I really want to see him start playing again. But at the same time, he literally shattered his kneecap.
Yeah.
Give the man as much time as he needs.
True.
True. I think we've got Nick Meaney back for this game. We do, and that is very good, because we saw how Munster played at fullback last week, and it wasn't terrible, admittedly, but it wasn't ideal.
What's the standings looking like, Highlander? How's it shaping up? Are people moving up? I saw Eels are higher than they were with our 2 wins.
The Eels have moved up to 12th now.
Moved up, yeah.
So, I mean, that's good. The Raiders moved up to 14th. Cowboys dropped down to 16th. Tigers, even though they get those 2 points because of the bye week, they're still winless.
Again, there's only 2 points separating 10th and 2nd.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, like it's still really early on in the season, which is why like the Cowboys again shouldn't be too worried. But
I mean, look at that.
Yeah,
look at that
I'm
score
go
for
say do or die. Yeah. 121 to 153, -32.
Like that's just you just don't want to see that. I mean, this doesn't look good either when you're looking at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, -16. Yeah,
that's just. I mean, look, this is the saddest one actually.
Knights with -3 and they're in the 11th. Yeah,
like the Knights are like, we shouldn't be where we are. We're so close.
And they're the Eels plus 13, and they're in 12th.
True.
That's where you go ahead and look at Warriors and even Manly. Like Manly's got a 6-point differential. Warriors only have 16. In comparison, Broncos 86.
Yeah,
that's just gross.
I mean, even the Bunnies
are at 50.
50, yeah. Which is exactly what I'm saying. Like the Warriors are winning these games, but like
they're close games.
Yes, they're obviously very close. Like
Same with Manly. Manly's games have all been close as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like you can look at Manly's team and go, that is a much better team.
Yeah,
Just got to figure out their
Yeah.
offense.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that right there tells you everything as well. 3-0 at home,
Yeah.
0-2 on the road. They haven't won a game that they're on the road for.
And they are on the road this week, so we'll see how that goes. If that changes,
Okay, well, look at that.
might break that little losing streak on the road that they've got.
I mean,
Maybe.
I think they want to.
It is against the Tigers, literally the best team to do it against. So
Yeah.
True. Somehow the Tigers win that game. I might actually. I might cry. Yeah, I was gonna say I might actually cry.
Of both joy and sadness.
Yeah. That like you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Well, that is great stuff. Thank you to Regal once more. And until the next recap of the NRL in 2 weeks, so there'll probably be a lot to unpack there too. We'll switch it over to the eSports segment of the show. The Call of Duty Championship weekend has been announced. The location has been announced, and it is coming to Vegas, of all places.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, Vegas is the place, the location for COD Championships this year. Which, I mean, honestly, it's a great place for COD Champs. So they came out with this little hype video for Champs, and I mean, if we have the same kind of Champs that we had last year, I mean, this is going to be an insane and wild Champs weekend. I mean,
I feel bad whoever gets eliminated the first day, though.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
They're gonna be losing a lot of money in the casinos.
Or you can turn around and win it back. You know, who knows?
Or that, yeah.
You might have lost the COD championship, but you can at least
There's gonna be a lot of things going on there.
Get a little bit more, yeah. But so yeah, talking about Call of Duty, we had the Major IV qualifiers finish this past weekend. And for some reason, I can't find a single graphic or anything about the actual like qualifying standings of this qualifiers. I know that Optic went 5-0, which is fantastic. Vegas Legion went 4-1, which is fantastic. And I know two teams finished 0-5.
Is it not on the COD website?
It's not. No, it is nowhere. I
just found Major IV qualifier standings.
Yes, but it's not the. It's not the Wait, what did you find? Hold on.
It says 5-0, and
let me look at.
0-5,
Hylander
0-5.
here. Oh, you don't have it pulled up on your screen.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, hold on.
There we go. There we go.
See?
Where in the world do you see that?
It's Major IV qualifying standings.
Just on the Call of Duty page.
Yeah.
Why in the world? What? Why was a simple Google search not bringing that up for me? I'm losing it.
That's why I'm like, you said that. I'm like, this is everything you're saying right here is showing true.
The amount of time that I spent in that NRL segment trying to find this stupid graphic.
And I found it in 2 seconds.
I guess it wasn't a graphic, but okay. Well, so here we go. So yeah, Optic 5-0, Thieves 4-1, Surge 4-1, Subliners and Vegas 4-1. Everyone's 4-1. My goodness.
Yeah.
That's a crazy. I didn't know that many people.
FaZe the only 3-2 team.
Yeah, which normally you have a battle of the 3 and 2s to just make it into the winners.
Now it's just the battle of 4-1s.
Now it's just the battle of 4-1s. Yeah, but with that said, I mean, a team in Boston 2-3, they get to push forward to the 8.
No,
to the top 8.
Can I just say the most crazy one here is Toronto 1-4.
Oh yeah,
Major III champs.
Yep,
1-4.
Yeah, they really took a nosedive, and I mean, funnily enough, London has a win, and that was huge. London has a win, and then two teams both 0-5, Los Angeles Guerrillas and Florida Mutineers. So I mean, it's not looking good for them. I mean, LAG has been looking really bad for a long time now, and Florida kind of all of a sudden just started looking bad out of nowhere. I mean, they did get like top 12, I think, at the last major. So I mean, I guess it's not new news, but yeah. But so there's a little standout here. I wanted to highlight Standy and his efforts for the Las Vegas
Ooh.
Legion, because obviously he got dropped from Toronto. He got absolutely smack talked by teammates, mainly Scrap, for being selfish, for caring about himself and blah blah. And so he gets picked up by Vegas, and he starts popping off for them. And what's your face?
Oh, I just seen that Seattle versus FaZe is a round 1 matchup.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll get
Major
there.
IV. I just seen that, and yeah, that just got me excited.
We'll get there. But yeah, so I wanted to shout Standy out there because he's a phenomenal player, and I mean, when you have a team around him, I mean, him, Donnie Temp, TJ Haley, and Clayster, I mean, they finally have a team.
Yeah,
Vegas finally has a team where they can contend for stuff.
Yeah, Vegas is one of those teams that I think could be that surprise team that makes. I don't know if they'll make a winner bracket run, but I feel like Vegas might make a loser bracket run in Major IV.
Yeah, I don't know, but got a couple of stats here. See, I found all these stats, all these statistics, but I just couldn't.
Are fantastic.
I just couldn't find the qualifying the standings. I don't know. See, this is why I have Highlander on.
Yeah, true.
So the Major IV qualifiers, overall KD, Sam Octane, 1.5.
Yeah.
That is just disgusting. Kenny Quavo, his teammate, and Draza.
Oh my!
3 out of the 4 LA Thieves members are here in overall KD. And I'm honestly surprised to not see Envoy, because Envoy didn't have a bad stage either. I mean, he's probably right here at like 11th or something. I don't know. But
or tied 10th, and they just didn't show it.
Right. I thought it was a tie for 10th, because that's, I mean, you got a tie here, I guess. But it's pretty, I mean, also Kremp, I mean, new guy for the Boston Breach. I mean, he showed out, I guess, this week, but I don't think that's really going to stay. I don't think Kremp is the answer.
I'm not surprised Pred is in the top 10.
Pred, I mean, he was definitely higher earlier.
Yeah, he's done worse. He's definitely did. I think because at this point he just wants out of Seattle, to be honest. I don't
blame him.
And
I saw today that if for some reason, if Optic choose to stick together, which it's more of a question now, honestly.
Yeah.
As to do Optic stay together, because they are vibing.
They're doing something. Yeah.
They are communicating well. They're doing very well together, and so like I could see a world where Optic just stays together. And
where does Pred go then?
Probably to FaZe.
Oh,
Pred probably goes to FaZe. You move Simp to that flex role. You have Celium as a main AR, Simp as the flex, and a BZ and Pred running sub. It's game over. Like that is like Cold War phase level of dominance that I see. I mean, it is just insane.
Who else is on FaZe right now?
Slasher. He would get dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Slasher, you got Celium. Who you picking? You're picking Celium every day of the week.
100%. Look at Beans, the boy Beans.
Yeah, Beans. Look at him. He's going ham. He's going good.
Sib, that's a Seattle player too, isn't it?
Sib is a Seattle player. Yep, Sib's there. And I mean, he had a crazy weekend as well. So he did very well. I got some more stats here. Hardpoint KD. You got Sib at the top there, going crazy. Quavo
Kenny, yeah, of course. Accuracy though, hold on. Well.
Accuracy up there.
Oh, well, never mind. All of LA Thieves are in the top 10 again. Yep.
Except for Envoy. Except for Envoy, yeah. I don't know where he's at. He might be on this slide here. S&D stats. You got Drazi, you got Kenny, you got Octane. One more. No Envoy. But
Envoy just keeps getting left out of these.
I mean, there's only so many kills on the map, I mean, like if you got 3 of your guys in the top 10, you're just chilling.
I mean, when you have Draza dropping a 4.0,
that is just
Kenny 3.0 and Octane dropping a
2.5.
Like, what are you doing? Your role basically is going.
You're
boys,
planting the bomb.
You're planting the bomb. You're making call outs, and you're just going.
You're first peeking. You are baiting for them because their shots are going to be on point. And then we have the control KD. Once again, Octane up here, 2.13 in control. That is just gross.
Beans, though.
Beans there. Kremp
Wow.
came out really hot.
Envoy.
And
He made it.
Envoy's here finally. There he is, Dylan Envoy. He finally made one of the top 10s. But then again,
Wait,
all of
Thieves-
LA Thieves is here.
All the Thieves are there this time.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
insane.
Thieves are coming in hot,
Wait,
and they're doing it early this year.
There hasn't been a FaZe person in the top 10.
FaZe, I
This
think
is the-
overall, Katie maybe.
This might be the first time that the FaZe players haven't actually been in the top 10 stats.
Let's see. It is no.
I wonder if that's a thing. I feel like that's got to be like a newish thing. Not having a single FaZe player in the top 10.
Yeah, that is very weird for sure.
I feel like I was gonna say Priesta, but no, Priesta used to be on.
No, he used to be on FaZe. Yeah, not anymore. He's been on FaZe for a while now.
That's why I said it's insane.
Yeah. So, but we've got the bracket is set for Major IV, obviously. If I can get this thing to pull up, here we go. Texas Breach, Subliners Legion, Thieves Rocker, and like you said, Surge FaZe. And now I also want to highlight Optic Breach. That was a first round matchup in Major 3 where we saw Boston knock out Optic right away and send them to the losers. I don't see it happening this time. I don't see it happening this time again, but if Optic don't come prepared, I mean, they did play Boston in their last game. I mean, in their last match of the qualifier, and they 3-1'd them like it was nothing. So
if they lose, they go they go down to face Toronto.
They go down to face. I believe it is Toronto. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
That's kind of scary though.
That's a little scary
because Toronto at land.
They could show up.
Wow! Could you imagine if Optic, who like did this whole big qualifier thing,
imagine they go 2-0.
Yeah, they just 0-2. Start off.
It'd be crazy.
But imagine if it was like 2-3-0s as well. Like absolutely just done. See ya.
Yeah. But so these are the matchups going on. And now, like, I'm not going to do a bracket like pick 'em right now with us. That's going to be a separate video on our YouTube channel. Just because, I mean, we're running out of time tonight here on Twitch, and I mean, it just takes a long time anyway. I don't want it to be the entirety of the eSports segment, just us doing the bracket. So look for the special bracket prediction for CDL Major IV coming to YouTube. It should be. I would like it to be uploaded before or at the same time that the podcast goes live. So if you're listening to this right now on Thursday, then check the YouTube page and see if the bracket video is out too. So we'll do our best to get that out to you. Probably just be a long video with no cuts, honestly. But anyway, yeah. So exciting weekend of Call of Duty coming up for Major IV, and I'm not sure. I might be on the boat still, or I might be just getting off the boat. I don't know. Not entirely sure. April 20th. That's this weekend.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
I'll be getting ready to be on the boat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so actually, I could probably watch the last of it before.
That's Thursday, yeah. Thursday starts.
So unfortunately, we won't have a live reaction like we did for Major 3.
The grand finals, yeah.
Yeah, we won't have that. But take what we do. I'll take the cruise over watching the grand final with Hylander. Sorry, buddy.
No, listen, I don't blame you.
But yeah, so that's all I got for Call of Duty. Moving on, I wanted to highlight some Overwatch action going on. Opening weekend of the actual league starts, and I'm not going to name all these matches, but
start next week.
Yep, we've got a lot of matches going on, and this is what I don't understand: the West, which is a lot of teams, and those matches span over the course of 4 days, and then you have the East, which is just 1 day. And it's 6 teams. So I don't know. I have no idea what's up with that. Do you know what's up with that? East versus West? I don't know.
Because
Dallas East doesn't make any sense. And I mean, these all are teams that are like East, like, East of the world East, And I guess Dallas does have a lot of those Eastern players. So I guess that's why they're in the East. Just weird to see that Dallas... Optic Gaming owned Dallas, Yeah, that's the Optic Gaming team, Dallas Fuel. That's the world.
No. I was reading what Ace was saying, and I was mind blown there.
Oh,
Wait,
East
what team?
Hunters team is suspended.
Which team is that?
Oh, they're not here. They're not in the graphic.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Hunter team is suspended in the East. Okay, due to owner issues.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
shit. Oh yeah, that's why they're not there. Okay, that
Chengdu
makes-
Hunters. Yeah. Okay. So Chengdu Hunters are
Oh wait, is
suspended.
that the one with the Is that the one that usually has the panda logo?
Oh, maybe.
Or am I
Yeah.
thinking of the wrong team?
I don't see that here. No, I think you might be right. Yep. Panda
Yeah,
logo.
okay, it is the panda one. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I remember seeing one that had like a panda logo.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that too. Yeah. All
That
right.
makes
So
sense.
that's why Dallas is in the East. So, yeah. So if
makes
you're an
sense now.
Overwatch fan, tune in April 27th through the 29th. Yeah, it'll be good stuff. And then I remember last week when I was trying to find this Halo roadmap, I found
You
it.
couldn't find it?
And well, okay, I found it, but it wouldn't load for me last week. It finally loaded. Well, not finally. It has been loading the entire week, but it loaded today for me. So
Okay.
we're gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna blow this way up.
Okay.
So here is the roadmap for this entire year. We've already had things go on. We've already had the Charlotte Major. We've already had all these stuff. DreamHack, June 2nd through the 4th. April 22nd to the 23rd is Quadrant Online, so that's coming up this weekend, or close to this weekend, and not really this weekend.
This roadmap is sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Looks like a Marvel / like Star Wars kind of like roadmap thing. I like how they did it.
So we got May the 12th to the 13th is a FaZe Clan Online event. Like I said, DreamHack is June 2nd to the 4th. At Dallas, you got the Major hosted by Optic Gaming in Arlington, June 30th to the July 2nd. So that's like two majors back to back, pretty much in the same month almost. Then Space Station is hosting a global invitational, August 4th through the 6th. Then you have the Major at Fort Worth, September 1st to the 3rd, and then finally Halo World Championships in Seattle, October 12th to the 15th. So that is the roadmap for the Halo scene for the rest of the year. So I don't know why I decided to bring that up. I guess just something to talk about on Halo, because there's not really much going on. I mean, I don't even know about the Quadrant event. I'm not sure if that's just gonna be like an EU thing. I think Quadrant is mainly EU, but maybe it'll be all the teams. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, we got some Halo stuff going on coming up soon, and then not until May do we have some more. Which I mean, I guess May is a lot closer than I think it is. I always forget that it's
May is like what 2-3 weeks away now.
2 weeks away, yeah, 2 weeks away now. So it's coming up a lot faster than I think. But that's good. That's a good thing. So Halo action going to be coming at us, and that's all I have for esports. Highlander, I know you have a lovely League of Legends segment.
I do.
So why don't you just rattle that off for us? For anyone who cares about League.
There's a lot of information here to go through. So yeah, the League MSI is starting in a couple of weeks on May 2nd in London. Play-ins will be May 2nd through 7th. Bracket stage is from May 9th to the 20th, and the final is on May 21st. The format is 5 teams from the 4 major regions, which is NA, EU, China, and Korea. And they will be automatically moved into the bracket stage. These are the first place teams in their region, and Korea has 2 teams advancing to the bracket stage because they are the region that won Worlds last year. The playoff stage will be the remaining 8 teams, and only 2 will advance into the bracket. The teams who are already in the playoffs, as they call it, are Cloud9, which of course represent NA, JD Gaming and the LPL, or better known as the China region. T1 and Gen G are both from the LCK, aka Korea. And EU is still in playoffs, so their team hasn't been announced yet. Within the play-in stage, the teams are G2 of EU, Golden Guardians of NA, Billy Gaming of China, Loud of Brazil, and Detonation Focus Me of Japan. Rainbow 7 of the Latin American region, and PSG Talon of the PCS, better known as Pacific Championship. They cover Taiwan, Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, and Oceania. The VCS of the Vietnam League have not announced their region representative yet. Next week, the rest of the teams announced will be announced, and we'll be looking more into matchups. Clear front runners, however, are both LPL and LCK teams, but not without the representatives from Japan, PCS, and Brazil giving them a run for their money, just like they always do.
All right.
What do you did write a 10-page essay. What do you mean?
That's great. That's great stuff, though. I have no idea what any of that means, and neither does
Same,
Highlander.
You know what?
He just
There's a lot of information.
But maybe we'll be that might be like a mini series that we could do on YouTube of us of Highlander and I learning League.
Oh yeah, that'd be
that would be horrible. But
that'd be
we would do it for the content.
Who would just judge us? Feet A's. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So So talking about the hunters of the Overwatch League, this statement was put out. So ahead of our season start, we wanted to share the community that the Chengdu, I butchered that, hunters are not included in today's schedule announcement as they continue to contemplate the future direction of their team. We will update the community further when we have more information to share. For the upcoming spring knockout stage, there will now be 6 OWL teams in the East region, and they will be accompanied by 6 qualified contenders teams. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Both regions of the Overwatch League will still begin the season next week, and we are excited to announce that our season schedule is now live. We look forward to celebrating the best Overwatch 2 players in the world with you all. So
I'm really excited for this.
That is exciting. Yeah. So having some contenders teams come up there and,
yeah, they did it for the Pro-Am.
They did. And it was a big success, huge success.
Yeah.
So
it made it a little bit more interesting to see teams that you don't usually see.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah, I like that. But that's really all we've got for the eSports segment. Well, let's wrap this show up. Thank you all so much for watching and listening to episode number 8 of the podcast. It's been a great show, as always. And we thank you for stopping by and watching or listening. If you are watching, either on YouTube or Spotify, make sure you like the video, favorite our podcast on your listening apps, subscribe to us on YouTube, and feel free to give us a follow on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/offthecuffpod, where we go live with this podcast every single Tuesday, except for next week, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you did like it, check down in the description box for all of our links on Twitter and Discord to join us to talk everything sports and esports with us on those platforms. And check us out on our audio sites over at anchor.fm/offthecuffcast. So without any further ado, I'm JT and he's Highlander, and the show is over.